This is Emily.
Hi.
She's my first post-run coffee guest. I've met so many interesting and inspiring people throughout my running journey. I wanted to create a space where we could share stories with the community to grow, be inspired, learn, get motivated to go out there with all the good jujus and do the things we've always wanted to do. I met Emily in one of the running communities that I joined last year called the Fresh Patterns Collective, and Emily was one of the captains. She also really helped me with my marathon training last year. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
I mean, my running journey started years and years ago. I was a teenager. Basically started because my younger brother wanted to go and play football. And we realized that next to the football pitch, there was also a running track. Oh. And on the same day that my brother did football training, there was some sort of athletics training. Yeah, I mean, I used to run 800 meters, 200 meters, really found like a space and a community there. And then when I turned 15, I had some kind of growing problems. I got knee pain, and also I'm British, which meant we used to get drunk in the park. Sorry, Mum. I stopped running. Okay. And I stopped running for a really long time. It just wasn't part of my life anymore. Mm-hmm. And then it was one of those things that during the pandemic, I think like a lot of people, it was how can I find ways to feel a sense of freedom or a connection to the outdoors or a connection to my body again to get out of my head. And I started running and then kind of found the Berlin running communities, and that's how I came back to it. Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, for me, it was like a huge jump going from running 800 meters, twice around the running track to now my journey. I run half marathons for fun as a training run now, and then marathons, and even I did like an ultra marathon last year. And I think it's just, it's a really special space, the running space. You meet really cool people and they push you to do things that you never thought was possible. Yeah.
And you also became like a captain, part of a community, like also supporting new runners as well.
It's a really selfish thing that I do. Like, of course, yes, I turn up, I help people get sorted, I help organize races, these kinds of things, but it's such a pleasure to watch someone come to the track for maybe the first time or say, I really want to do this as a goal, and to just give them a space, and or just kind of show them that I believe they can do it. Yeah. And like the transformation that they're able to go on is incredible. I mean, I remember like with your marathon. Yeah. Like you kind of saying like, I really need some help with putting a program together. Yeah. Like I don't know what I'm doing. To then you suddenly like really thriving in like one of the arguably hardest marathons where there's no support on the course. It was really
It was so lonely.
But you loved it. And so like to know that I was a tiny part of that journey, it gives me so much joy.
She was definitely not just a tiny part, because in times like that, all you need is just one person who believes in you. What we also talked about was the fact that like when you, like with running, and I think with any kind of movement, when it's such a nice way to connect with people on a deeper level as well, it's like an instant icebreaker, and you're like, is it the shared pain? I don't know, like.
I think there's something about, I don't know, especially on these longer runs.
Yeah.
You're on your feet, moving for hours. Like it's really hours at a point, especially when you're marathon training. And you think, okay, great, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and I have to force food into my body. I have to try and drink coffee and water and give my body all these good things when it's not awake yet. Mm-hmm. And then go out and run for 4 hours. Yeah. Like when you talk about it like that, it's insanity. Let's be real. True. Yeah. But there's something really special about doing that and then sharing that with someone. And maybe it's this struggle that you go through together. But there's always a point on a long run where just the emotional barriers come down because you're tired and you can't bother to filter. You're sharing something that's difficult. Yeah. And you're doing it together and you're kind of pushing each other. I think it's also...
It's so true, yeah.
Like, there'll be points when one of you's dropping a little bit and the other one is kind of like, no, we can do this. Yeah. Ways it switches. And so I think there's this beautiful support system that exists that then builds like a bond of trust, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
And then you kind of feel like, actually, I feel safe here. Yeah. This person has my back. And so I'm really happy to tell them about that childhood thing that happened to me that actually maybe has now made me believe this certain thing. But I think that's also something generally about running, that I think most people have their reasons for doing it. And I think especially when you start running longer distances, it's more than just about being fit. Like, I think there are so many sports that people do because they want to be fit. And I mean, like, of course, I come to running with the goal of I want to get better and I would like to see myself improve. And I think with the discipline that you put in and with the training that you put in, you're able to do that. But for me, running is also, the reason I came back to it is I had like 3 really big, difficult things happen to me at the same time in my life. Like one of them being I like burnt out from my job. And like kind of all independently from each other, they would have been hard to handle.
Yeah.
And they kind of happened at the same time. And like my body was just this like, how do I begin to deal with this? And the way that I dealt with it, like one of the ways I dealt with it was to go and run because I was really in my body. Like, and to really go like, okay, I need to get out of my head.
Yeah. Are you quite an overthinker?
Big time.
Yeah, okay.
Big overthinker. And yeah, just to kind of really like go, okay, I need to be in my body because it's hard. I have to remember to breathe and I have to put one foot in front of the other and I have to remember to be strong and I have to remember all of these things because as soon as I start overthinking, I think I can't and then I can't.
I felt it too, like your body literally starts to shut down.
And so I think it's this like beautiful practice of going like, how can I reconnect to like my physical self? And how can I use this as a way to kind of physically process what's going on in my brain? And like, for me, it was the sense of moving forward. Like, really like going, like in like a building momentum for myself.
Yeah.
And so I think it's this really beautiful thing that running to me is a tool for helping me stay grounded.
Yeah.
And then it has the added benefit of, okay, I can go a little bit faster at this race. That's really amazing. Like it builds confidence. And I put the time and the energy and the discipline in and it pays off. So it's kind of, I think for me at least, running is like a very vulnerable area for me that means it means a lot more than just running.
You know, because you're always moving forward, you know? Like I also just metaphorically, I like it as well. That it's like one foot in front of the other and you're always moving forward, even if it's slow or fast, like you know that you're still moving forward. And I think another reason why Emily and I bonded so much is because she's also on her own entrepreneurial journey. And for me, like, running has just really helped me kind of stay aligned with my entrepreneurial journey. You know, when like shit's not working, you just remember like, you know, like how to do this because you physically, like you've been training. If you were to give advice to somebody who's feeling lost right now in their life, what would you say?
It's a good question. It's a hard question. I think I would start by saying you're not alone. There are so many days where I feel completely lost. I think it's part of the human experience. It's completely normal.
Yeah.
And it's really this taking a step back, being able to look at where you've come from.
Yeah.
Because I think, like like I say, there are many days at the moment where I feel completely lost, like maybe unanchored. I don't know what I'm doing, where I should focus. But I think back to 2 years ago. The life that I have today, I wouldn't have realized was possible to me. And I probably also felt lost then.
Yeah.
And now when I look back, I feel like, oh, it was so much easier when I was doing this and I had a full-time job and things were just stable and balanced. And I think also like in terms of like relationships, there were points where I was just like, what am I doing? I'm really alone. I don't know where to focus. Like, is anything going to change? And it goes back to this patience. And I think giving to yourself rather than giving kind of outward. Really saying, I'm going to invest in looking after me. What do I need right now? I feel lost. What can I do to give to myself to be kind, to be compassionate, to be just to be more forgiving of myself? Because I think we judge ourselves so harshly. And when we say I feel lost, we just think like I failed.
Wait, can I just add another question on that? What's one thing that you gave to yourself in the last week?
I actually did an exercise where I sat and I wrote down objectively all the things that I have achieved in my life.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I think we are also very good at forgetting the big things that we do.
Yeah.
And
Or even the small things.
even the small things.
Yeah.
Even the small things. But like we are so much more capable than we realize. And I think we live with ourselves through the moments of insecurity. And I think there's some science, right, that we need, for every one negative thought, we need 5 positive ones to balance it out. Our brains are problem-solving machines.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to protect ourselves and we're trying to keep ourselves safe. So we like look out for different dangers and different things that we want to kind of mitigate against. And really to like put this in this gratitude practice and thinking positively is a really hard thing to train ourselves to do.
Yeah.
And to just remind ourselves, actually, there is so much positive and so much positive that we've created for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
And whether that being, you know what, I was really tired and I decided to have a nap. Like that was a win. Like because normally maybe I would feel guilty if I took like a 3 p.m. nap, but actually going like that was what I really needed to give to myself.
Yeah.
All the way through to going, I don't know, in my last job, I created this, for me, like communications things. I created this report that achieved this in the media, like that's really cool. Like that was energy that I put into something that turned into these results. And to really to be able to look at that and go, yeah, that was something amazing that I did. And in this moment where I feel lost and lacking confidence because of this sense of loss and unanchored and just feeling like, what am I doing? To go, no, I'm capable. I am capable. Just in this moment right now, I need to let go and to say like, okay, where do I want to ground myself? What is it that I want to focus on? How can I just do one thing that's kind for me? And whether that's going to meet a friend and saying like, what cool things have I done? Like, help me. It's also like really important to ask for help, but that we're able to give that kindness to ourselves because we're our worst critics.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for inviting me on.
And thank you for hanging out with us. I hope you took something away from it and that you, really remember that you're capable. You can do anything that you want and that you do something really kind for yourself today and every day. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you next time. See you soon.